Oh, hi everyone, it's Susie from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all well. I hope you're looking after yourself. You're looking after your family, your friends, you're being kind to yourself, you're being kind to your animals, your putty cats, your babies, you're being kind to people generally in the world. I had to put down my second cat, my Ezzy cat, who was 18, at Gussie's sister, which I was really upset about that last week. So hard when you've had animals for 18 years and you just love them. Honestly, it's just so difficult. I miss my babies so much. But anyway, I thought I haven't done YouTube for probably a couple of weeks because I wasn't very inspired, and I need to come up with something that actually inspires me and makes me, feel interested in doing one, to be perfectly honest with you. So I apologise. But I just can't get up there and talk about something I'm not interested in, or something just for the sake of it. But I thought I'd do something which I was been thinking about. When will the bull market start in crypto land? And what will make it happen? In crypto land, what's going to be the drivers to make this bull market happen in crypto land? So, and I've been giving that some thought, quite a bit lately, because the market has been down since October, is it 2017 or something, since they brought out Bitcoin futures, which doesn't surprise me, because with the futures market, basically it's an insatiable supply. There's no limit on supply. So the institutional or the private client can sell as many futures as they want and keep selling, and the physical market doesn't have that sort of supply. So it's almost like a misnomer to me, because in other financial markets, if you understand other financial markets, they never bought out futures until the physical market was bedded down properly. So in other words, the bond market or the equity market, the physical market being when you buy, the product, the shares or the bonds, you have to have proper cash. They never bought out futures until way later. And if you look at the bond market, say in Australia, the bond market was established, way back in the 40s, or whatever it might have been, the physical market. But they didn't bring out futures, bank bill futures, until 1989, and they didn't bring out bond futures until 1992. So it just seems to me all arse end of that, and I think the legislators have completely got it wrong as usual, because honestly, the legislators have no idea about financial markets, and I've seen that time and time again since my dotage of being in the markets for so long. But anyway, that's just another beef that I have about regulators and not understanding financial markets the way I do particularly. So if we go to the next slide, what characterizes a bull market? I mean, what is a bull market? And according to BitsGap, and I always source my references, so I'm not copying anyone, because I'm truly a professional. A bull market refers to a period of time when the value of an asset keeps going up, right? Value of the assets are on a rise, and there are lots of new investors in the market, lots of new people, lots of new money. There's speculators in the market, and there's true investors in the market. And assets are on the rise, and basically everyone's talking about the bull market. Even the taxi drivers talking about the equity market going up, or the bond market, or whatever it might be. So people are excited, the market's going up, there's a lot of optimism, everyone seems to be making money, left, right and center. It seems to be easy to make money. Everyone thinks they're a star trader or a star investor. And, everyone thinks that it's just so easy to make money in a bull market. No matter what you buy, it just seems to go up and up and up and up, right? So, again, and when we see a bull market, and if we've seen it obviously in the cryptocurrency land, we saw that, Coinbase was opening up 1 million accounts a day, for example. Volumes were higher. Everyone was talking about how high Bitcoin was going to get to, over 20,000. All the media starts talking about it. Oh, it's going to go higher and higher and higher. No one says, hey, guys, it's time to sell. This thing's way overbought. You know what I mean? So everyone's bullish, and, Wall Street Journal, the whole thing. Buy more at the top. But again, like markets, financial markets and crypto markets, the optimism doesn't last forever, ever. And markets, whether they're in a bull or whether they're in a bear, like we see the crypto market now, the bear isn't going to last forever either. And we have to keep that in mind, because in my mind, and this is all my personal opinion, and you can take it or leave it. Everyone's got their own opinion, and I understand that. This is my own personal opinion. This is not financial advice. And again, I repeat this, it's food for thought. Okay, guys? So, I don't want to get, YouTube responses saying, you're this and you're that. It's food for thought. It's to make people think about what's going and where it's going. And this is how I think. This is what I'm thinking. Okay? So, again, market cycles don't last forever. We saw that in the equity market. I worked in the equity market 2008, 2009. I thought the capitalist system was broken forever. Seriously, I really did. I thought we used to go in there day in, day out. The market was down day in, day out for, God, about 500 days at least. It was getting to the stage you didn't want to look at the screen. You didn't want to talk to a client. You didn't want to talk to anyone. It was just horrible. We thought the equity market would never, ever, ever recover. But I tell you, of course it did. And now it's at all-time highs. So keeping in perspective, the cryptocurrency market is gloom and it is doom. But, again, markets do turn. And I believe, with my own personal opinion, when this market turns, it's going to be savage. Now, what also characterizes the bull market is knowledge of the asset class. Okay, people understand equities. They understand it. They don't understand bonds so much, but they get it with equities. They don't understand currency as much, but they understand it with equities. Whoops, I've got a mistake in this slide. So all those people that always look out for my spelling errors, my mistakes, there's one there. I'll point it out, that there, and I don't spell very well. But look, besides that, I hope the information I convey is quite good. So what conveys a bull market? Knowledge. Absolute knowledge of what the asset class is. The populace, the masses understand what the asset class is, okay? With crypto, the average person doesn't. They don't understand it, right? I work in a gym, with young people, old people, you name it. I talk to 17-year-olds right through to 100-year-olds. And you know what? Even the youngest person, even a 12-year-old that came in the other day and wanted to do a class, hadn't heard of cryptocurrency. So people, the populace, the masses need to know about cryptocurrency before we can have a bull market, okay? Because we need to be able to bring in more and more people into this market to push the prices up, okay? So the populace, the masses, need to understand the cryptocurrency market like the equity market or like some other market, okay? Another thing that characterizes often a bull market is the market's been on its lows, like we've seen with the cryptocurrency market, and there's a major catalyst for the market to start turning up. A major catalyst. Now, it could be government regulation. It could be, the Fed putting billions and billions of dollars into the equity market like we saw, and the bond market in 2008, 2009. It could be legislation condoning the asset classes. It could be more and more instos putting in billions and trillions into the market. Again, it could be because people are fed up with the horse and buggy approach of old technology. Again, media, taxi drivers talking about it, university courses, Bitcoin itself looks like, it could be basing. It could be a number of reasons. Instos start buying futures and not selling them. There's a lot of reasons that a lot of things can characterize a bull market. And this is not necessarily, an absolute, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. There could be so many different reasons to change a market from bear to bull. So, we've got this situation, and I borrowed this from Hacker Noon, and I always, as I said, show you where I got my sources from if it's not mine. You've got the takeoff here, and you've got this, and then you've got up the new paradigm, and people start buying the top and everything else. Then people start selling, and now we're down at this level. Despair. Is it going to keep going lower? Is it going to continue? Blah blah blah. Now, the media outlets, the technicals, all that stuff. People are calling it lower and lower and lower. And that's the thing. When people start calling it lower and lower and lower, when the market is already on its lows, you got to wonder, are they completely wrong? Because think about it, when the market's on its highs, people call it higher and higher and higher. We see it all the time. Okay, so again, you know, you've got to be skeptical. You know, be skeptical, because being skeptical provides you with an incredible opportunity that other people or the masses don't see. Really important. Now, this is not financial advice, as I said. But again, what characterizes the bull market? FOMO. We know about that. Everywhere you go, people are talking about it. It's on TV, blah, blah, blah. Other alts start moving up. Real investors are in the market. There's lots of new money coming. The internet traffic lines start, you know, talking crypto, more chat lines, a lot of social media, people getting in. They're signing up to exchanges. Exchanges aren't going broke like Liquid. There's buying of lots of crypto. You could even see a dramatic fall in other asset classes, which drives people to this cryptocurrency market, okay? You know, it could be all different reasons why there's a bull market in the cryptocurrency market. Now, what do we have at the moment in our cryptocurrency market? And I'm trying to look at this objectively for my own portfolio. You know, when the market was at a high, you know, we saw Bitcoin over 20,000. You know, the cryptocurrency valuation roughly at the time was 900 billion. Now we've got 112 billion. Amazing. So it's fallen off massively. You know, the masses don't know about crypto, as I said. Some of the exchanges are going broke, like Liquid. Volumes are massively down. New accounts are massively down. There's some argument to say technically the cryptos are basing at the moment. What I mean by that is they're just holding ground and they're not going any lower, i.e. XRP, for example. Got to a low of 27 cents, bouncing off it, you know, now at 30, 31, 32 cents. You know, it's getting to the stage, this thing, you know, how far can you sell incredible technology? You know, which is not going to go away, by the way. The banks and the monopolies can't do, you know, a lot to get rid of this technology. It is groundbreaking technology, groundbreaking. So what we've got in the world now, and I want people to just think about this globally from what I see, and this is my own personal opinion, we've got massive dissatisfaction across the masses when we talk about banks, what they do and their costs. So in Australia, for example, and I've said this to you before, there's 4 major banks in Australia, and they all make, in a year, $15 billion in profit. In a year. 15 billion. That's correct. Profit. Now, the population of Australia is only 24.5 million people. Very small country. That are 4 major banks, NAB, Westpac, Commonwealth Bank, and ANZ, make $15 billion profit. Now, how can they do that? Think about it. When we're only a population of 24.5 million people, and they make $15 billion. Clearly, they must be charging an arm and a leg in terms of costs to the average consumer. There is no doubt about that. And they make that money through all sorts of things. Whether you have a bank account with them, you don't do anything with it, it's $5 a month. You know, they charge transaction costs. When you do currency, it could be $15 for an overdraft, a telegraph fee. It could be another $25 for this. It could be another $15 for that. They make massive amount of money. Not only that, when you transfer money, you don't get your money straight away, but it does come out of your bank account straight away. So they hold on to money as well. Okay, there's a massive dissatisfaction. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but with solicitors here. Solicitors cost a fortune, okay? Now, with blockchain and with cryptocurrency, we know that number 8, the banks, you know, XRP, okay, costs you nothing. You send 50 million and it costs you 30 cents US. Okay, dissatisfaction with solicitors. Solicitors are expensive. You know, again, smart contracts, you know, you can get rid of solicitors' jobs just like that. Huge dissatisfaction with utilities. I don't know what your gas bills are like or your electricity bills, but mine cost me a fortune, and every quarter they go up. Every quarter. If it's cold in Melbourne for a quarter, you know, for 3 months, my bill can be 800 Australian dollars, which is probably about, I don't know, 600 US. That's a lot of money. Now, again, the cost of utilities keeps going up. Again, you know, we have companies like Power Ledger out there, where, again, you can trade and buy electricity. Again, crypto is being applied to that. You know, what about a massive dissatisfaction we have with personal data that's being stolen of our own? you know, on Facebook or anything. Again, crypto can stop that. You know, crypto changes everything. You know, the technology changes everything. And it's less than the price or a cost of a toothpick. You can't even buy a match for the price of crypto. You know, a match, you know, there's nothing I could buy, you know, for 30 cents US or even half a cent US. You know, what could I buy for that? I can't even buy a lolly. You know what I mean? Nothing. A lolly, you know, a sweet. Another thing is food quality is a huge issue globally. And we have crypto for that. You know, Ambrosius. Poverty is a huge global issue. The 1% in the world are getting wealthier and wealthier. And it's because we have the structure in place of governments and capitalism, and the wealthier get wealthier and the poor get poorer. Out of 7 billion people, and please check the stats, over 7 billion people that live in the world, 4.1 billion people live in poverty. Okay, now in China, you've got 1.3 billion, a lot of people live in poverty. In India, you have 1.1 billion, and a lot of people live in poverty. But the reality is, the masses live in poverty, while less than 1% have huge wealth. We're talking trillions, which in my mind, my own personal opinion, that's a crime against humanity. Now, the way I see it, crypto changes everything. Cryptocurrency technology and cryptos basically distribute the wealth, okay, to the people. You know, people can actually change their lot. You know, this is how I see it by investing in crypto, because it is groundbreaking technology, and it's technology that is bigger than the internet. And I've said this before. It is technology that is as big as the internet. And when in the last, 20 years, the internet came out in 1992, I think. When was the last, 20 years or something that we've had technology bigger than the internet? It is groundbreaking, I have to say, and I can't emphasize that enough. The applications that cryptocurrency and blockchain can be used for are just mind-boggling. So what we have in reality in the world today, and again, this is not an infinite list. This is basically just a list that I see from the way I look at the world. Okay, guys. So I want you to understand that the middle class are being squeezed down massively. Wages are not growing. If anything, they're going backwards. The cost of living is rising, but yet government statistics keep telling us consumer price index, the CPI, which is, the cost of, $1, what that purchases out there in the real world with your money, hasn't changed. It's still at 2%. Well, that's bumpkin. I've got to say that's garbology, right? Wages are going backwards. You've got negative growth in wages, and that's happening everywhere in the G7 countries, like America, the UK, Australia particularly. Wages are going backwards. The cost of living is rising, and government statisticians are saying CPI, the consumer price index, is still at 2%. Well, it's garbology, because your purchasing value of $1 is not getting you what you used to get. 20 years ago, $1 used to get you a lot more than what it does now, right? That's a fact, and it's impossible. The consumer price index can be only at 2%. It's garbage. Again, just another lie by governments. There seems to be globally a dissatisfaction with governments. It doesn't surprise me. If you're a government official or in government or anything else, or a politician, you get paid a lot of money. If you're the head of the European Central Bank or the European Union, or, you work for the European Monetary Authority, you get paid a lot of money. And all I've heard is they paper push. They don't even have proper meetings. They have meetings and they don't write everything down. Because I actually know someone that works in these places, a few people. Anyway, basically in France and other countries, there's revolution for better working conditions. The young people and the old people are not getting jobs. There's massive job declines, rising house prices, and basic living costs are rising. Now, what does this have to do with crypto, you ask me? Well, it's basically the background to what's happening in the world to how can I say this, predetermine a crypto bull. Because crypto in itself and the technology is revolutionary. And if you look at this way, not that I'm trying to be political, I'm not left or I'm not right, it actually gives the power back to the people rather than the monopolies that are getting wealthier and wealthier. Okay, so we have mass job declines, and all this is contributing to a crypto bull. Everything, okay? Because what you've got is when you have a dissatisfaction with a system and a structure, it creates the room for change, okay? Just like in, Nazi Germany, pre-Nazi Germany, okay, that was shocking change, but, you can appreciate what I'm saying. So there is the reality of the world today, the way I see it. Now, people can have different views, and that's fair enough, okay? This is my view, my own personal view. But a lot of this can be substantiated. Most of it can be substantiated with facts. I'm never put anything out there that I cannot substantiate with evidence. Not like other YouTubers, okay? Everything I put down here, I can substantiate with facts and figures. And it's not just government facts and figures because I don't believe in them, okay? I do my own research, okay? So I want you to know that. We got mass job declines. Massive job declines, in old technology, whatever you want to call it. Rising costs of living. People generally are not happy. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but there is rising suicide rates here in Australia and depression. And I've mentioned this before because I've had a lot of suicide in my own life from people that I've known, including a partner. Now, what we're getting at now, also, instos are getting into the game of crypto. Fidelity and custody. Other instos, BlackRock, one of the largest fund managers that manages trillion, is talking about getting into crypto and custody, but also investing. We're seeing takeovers, Goldman Sachs and Polynex. We're seeing all sorts of different things going on in the circle. Okay, so the next thing, still looking at the environment that we have, cryptos are not listed on the stock exchange yet to reflect their true value. Now, again, I'll mention Ripple. If Ripple was listed on the stock exchange and it has the most incredible technology that no one else has, and honestly, I don't see R3 as being a competitor to Ripple or Stellar. People are living on fairyland if they think that. Seriously, they've never been and they never will be. Ripple has no debt, okay? It's got no debt whatsoever. It has massive client base, has massive penetration. The business is building and building and building. They have no debt, no liabilities. They have $25 billion in the bank. If it got listed on the stock exchange and people understand stocks and shares, the price of Ripple would be unbelievable. And I'll put it out there. The price of Ripple would be an Apple, $1,000 US. Apple is going downhill. It's an old technology now because people are over the Apple phone, the Apple this, the Apple that. Ripple is new technology. It's groundbreaking technology, and it would reflect its true value on the stock market because people understand stocks and they understand how to value Ripple as a company, okay? As a company. Now, in XRP land, people don't understand how to value a cryptocurrency. And that's the reality. The market in cryptocurrency land will wake up one day and understand the true value of XRP. That's my personal opinion, not investment advice, by the way. Crypto technology is groundbreaking. As big as the internet, as I've said, the internet took 5 years. Crypto revolution from here, I believe, will take less than 2 years. The capitalist system, from what I'm seeing in 2008 and 2009, was broken completely. The Federal Reserve and all the government central banks had to bail out the system of all the corporates and the banks that caused this problem, the banks particularly, while the CEO of all those banks got paid in the millions and billions and millions, but the central banks effectively became shareholders. And yet these CEOs still got paid their millions, but almost became like, you know, public servants to the central government because they were bailed out. Like Citigroup got down to $2, you know, and the central bank, the Fed, bailed out Citigroup. But technically speaking, why should a CEO be on billions, right? When it was actually became a public servant of the Federal Reserve. So in my mind, the capitalist system was broken completely. Never had you ever seen a situation where the central banks, the Federal Reserve, had gone from an $800 million balance sheet, 800 billion, to 4 trillion, 5 trillion. Now they've got to start unwinding that because they became owners of equity to hold up the equity markets. And these CEOs of these banks created the whole problem, or the financial system, right? You know, with lending to, you know, to load documents for, you know, for houses, and people couldn't afford to pay them back, and people could just hand in the keys to the bank and walk away, right? And they had all the debt. So what we're seeing in reality is, I better speed this up, it's going a bit too long, sorry about this, guys. The market structure in my mind is cracked and it's fractured, and this is the fiat market. We see these days more outsourcing, people are working from home, there's a move away from central offices, and there's a move away from central technology. Okay, ring a bell here. You know, central technology is easier to hack. We know that with Swift. Swift has lost, you know, millions and millions, 800 million. They lost 800 million or something ridiculous when some hackers got into the Bangladesh central bank, and they managed to write code that attacked Swift, and they were able to steal hundreds of millions of US dollars, right? Now, another thing, item 41, the world is in control. The world is in control, it's in control by monopolistic companies. Companies that have monopolies globally, that just make more and more money. And there's not much price competition. So in other words, costs are high. Now think about it, crypto does all the opposite to this. You know, in my mind, crypto will create an incredible revolution, and all the structural issues that we have in the world are adding to that revolution and adding to the circumstances to make the bull happen. Okay, so that's my view. It's my personal view. Business expanding, small business, wealth distribution we need. Obviously, if we have a dramatic fall in fiat currencies, i.e. to zero, like the Zimbabwe, whatever it was called, or the Turkish lira or whatever, people go to crypto. People are losing faith in governments and government policy, because in countries around the world, whether it be Iran, whether it be Turkey, whether it be Zimbabwe, whether it be, you know, any other country, Argentina, where the currency has gone to zero because of government corruption, and people have lost their wealth and their assets, they move to crypto. Okay, and I've said this, you know, massive poverty in the world, which I believe is a crime against humanity. Okay, I know I'm dramatic, but I'm half Italian, okay? You know, I think that a revolution is needed, and I think cryptocurrency will do it and give the power back to the people. And in my mind, that power will create an absolute crypto revolution. You know, where the physical market has a limited supply and the futures market has as much supply as you want. Now, clearly, there's so much more I can add to this list, but you get the general idea, okay? So what I'm saying to you guys is the circumstances for the bull are here. You know, the circumstances are already in place, okay? And all it needs is a catalyst. And what I mean by that is, you know, it's like, you know, you've got the gas in the room and you light a match and it goes boom. That's exactly what we've got right now, okay, right this minute. All the circumstances to create the bull in the cryptocurrency market. Old technology has to go. That's a fact. new technology to come in to reduce the costs, to reduce the monopolies. You know, people don't have the money, and costs, you know, they're getting raped and pillaged with costs from all the monopolies and the banks and so forth. A sea change is coming from the bottom up, not from the top down. People are tired of CEOs of big companies being paid millions and millions. Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan, who says he hates Bitcoin, of course he would. The guy gets paid $180 million a year. You know, if I work for a bank and I'm Jamie Dimon and I get paid $180 million a year, do you think I'm going to say Bitcoin's great or anything else when it takes away all my income? You know, the income I'm on as Jamie Dimon and all the client base that I get from clients so that I can rape and pillage them so that I can continue to be on $180 million a year. While the average person is probably on, you know, I don't know what it is in the US, but in Australia it's like 40,000, you know, Aussie dollars, which is 35,000 US. You know, other circumstances, you know, if currencies are crushed, people lose their value because they're sitting in US dollars or Australian dollars or whatever, and governments are broke. It's not unfeasible to suggest that currencies could go to zero, like we've seen in Argentina, Turkey, you know, Zimbabwe, whatever. You know, if the equity markets collapse because the real value of equity markets is way too high, and because there's a hidden bias for equity markets to keep going up, because brokers and banks make a lot of money from the equity market continuing to go up, right? Can't you see what I'm saying here? And also superannuation funds make a lot of money, health insurance funds, healthcare, all these are related to the equity market. All of them, they all invest big time in the equity market. And providing the bull is in the equity market, they all make money. The banks, the brokers, you know, the equity houses, whatever, right? But if we start getting this massive decline, which I'm on record for saying we're going to get it because 0809 didn't go away in my mind, and now we've got highs over and above 0809. 2009, sorry, before the equity market collapsed, the Dow was at 14,800 or something. Got down to 5,800, and now currently looking at my screen is 25033, 25,033. And yet profitability is not going higher from revenue. Profitability is going higher because they've reduced costs. And that's not a recipe for me for a Dow at 25,033. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice. People want more control rather than having to go through monopolies and central authorities. Crypto, in my mind, cannot be stopped. As time goes on, the masses will be better informed. They'll start to understand crypto. Crypto market needs to go up because the masses start understanding, and the masses start looking for an alternative or alternatives when the equity market and fiat markets collapse and their superannuation goes from 100,000 down to 20. Because a balanced fund of superannuation always invests 67% in equities. You know, everyone has a balanced fund in Australia, which is not balanced, because balance in my mind is 25 equities, 25 this, 25 that. But in Australia, they call a balanced fund 66% or 67% equities. Well, that's not true. It's not balanced. So the catalyst will be when you have a massive decline in other asset classes, and the power of the people will start looking at alternatives. As time goes on, social media, you know, this will be much more exposing to crypto. So in my mind, the bull is coming. The bull is coming. Crypto, and I'll leave it with this, crypto is cheaper than anything you can buy, the technology of crypto. Where can you buy the most advanced technology, you know, incredible technology, groundbreaking technology, you know, the the speed rocket of all time for less than a toothpick, you know, the cost of a toothpick. You know, the internet, just keep this in mind, the internet could not be held back. And crypto technology cannot be held back, no matter what governments do. You know, and as everything, over 37 years of being in financial markets or whatever, bear markets do not last forever. And the point of this, if you got anything from it, the structure is in place for this bull market to happen. I can't put a time on it, but I believe it will be soon, sooner than later. That's my personal view. Okay, it's not financial advice. Anyway, guys, I better wrap this up. Look after yourselves, please. Please be kind to yourself. Please be kind to your family, your parents, your friends, your animals, your putty cats, your dogs, whatever animal you've got. Just make this place a happier and better world than what it is. Be kind to everyone that you come across. Thank you, Susie, and I hope you're all well. Thank you.